Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, it is a great privilege and honor to have this opportunity to address the Human Rights Council. Give us the noble principles and values that drove the international community of nations to establish this esteemed body in 2006. I would like to applaud the Council's sincere efforts to realize and protect human rights across the globe and its continuous efforts to put an end to human rights violations. Mr. President, as all of you know, women and men of my country successfully led a peaceful revolution that started on December 19th of last year in response to an unprecedented deteriorating political and economic situation. Despite the excessive violence that the previous regime used, the people of Sudan persevered, proclaiming a motto of freedom, justice, and peace. After 5 months of peaceful struggle, tremendous sacrifices, and with support from Sudanese armed and security forces, Omar al-Bashir, the former president of Sudan, was removed from power on April 11, 2019, and a new dawn in Sudanese political history began. To realize the 3 pillars of the revolution, freedom, justice, and peace, a transitional military council representing the leadership of the armed and security forces that sided with the peaceful demonstrators and the Freedom Forces Alliance, representing the peaceful protesters, engaged in 4 months of painstaking political negotiations. The objective was to create a civilian-led government to tackle Sudan's economic crisis and build a state that is free, just and peaceful. With support from the international community, especially from the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, and the African Union, we successfully signed a constitutional document on August 17th. The document is the beginning and foundation of a thorny process of rebuilding state institutions and transforming Sudan into a democratic nation, where our government will always be of the people, by the people, and for the people, to use Abraham Lincoln's words. Thanks to the constitutional document, a civilian majority sovereign council has been established and a prime minister has been appointed. And on September 5th, Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok formed his cabinet, which includes 4 women, one of whom is now leading for the first time in the history of Sudan the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In relation to the specific work of this council, the new government is fully committed to achieving freedom, together with promoting and protecting human rights, and has already taken some significant practical steps to do so. These steps include ending curfew and state of emergency measures, and full guarantee of the freedom of expression, freedom of organization, and peaceful assembly. In addition, the National Intelligence and Security Service, which was responsible for the vast majority of the violations that this Council is very well aware of, has been restructured, and it is now only allowed to gather and analyze information according to the provisions of the constitutional document. Its operations unit has been dissolved. Mr. President, to ensure the legal framework for freedoms and human rights in Sudan is compatible with the constitutional document and international law, we will soon establish a legal reform commission. The commission, in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, will amend or abolish tens of pieces of legislation in Sudan that restrict freedoms or are inconsistent with international human rights law. And in this context, we plan to join the international human rights conventions to which Sudan is not yet a party, especially CEDAW and the Convention Against Torture. The last democratically elected government in Sudan which was the third in the country's history, joined in 1986 significant human rights conventions such as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. History has now offered us another opportunity to write a new chapter in Sudan's record of joining international human rights conventions. Mr. President, the new government has also taken practical steps to achieve peace, the second pillar of the revolution. The government and representatives from armed groups signed a declaration of principles in the capital of South Sudan last month on September 11th, which provides for